All right, so I have to take it before you do introductions here. I want to know who was the drummer and who was the guy playing the drum set.
I think I was the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure you probably realized I was going to roast you a little bit over that, but I'm an old fart that enjoys, you know what I mean, like perfection, and that's almost perfection, man.
Well,
So,
the original picture's pretty awesome. Coy made it, I think, for my birthday,
Yeah.
and then we've shared it every year since, back and forth.
oh my God. So I'm gonna let Coach Doherty because I read his introduction tonight and it's freaking phenomenal. This guy is like the top of the chain freaking stuff. I didn't
I
cuss,
don't know
man.
about that. I don't know
It's
about that, but I
pretty damn
appreciate it.
good.
I'm going to read it just because I don't want to. I don't want to mess it up, man. We're excited to have Coach Dorothy on, so want to give him the props. So tonight we've got an awesome guest, a guy who's not only one of our good friends in this profession, but someone we have had the privilege of coaching alongside back in the day under Coach Schiffman. Today's guest is Coy Dorothy, currently the head football coach and athletic director at his alma mater. He's living the real small school dream, wearing about 15 hats, building a program, and doing it the right way. Coy was a record setting quarterback at McMurray, and now he's on the other side of it, leading his own kids, breaking school records, and recently punching his program's ticket into the Illinois playoffs. We're going to talk ball, leadership, small school football, building a culture, and we'll probably tell a few stories about Coach Schiffman. So, Coach Dorothy, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate being on.
Hey, I thought that the way Coach Doherty was going, he's saying punching. I thought, holy crap, he punched somebody in the forehead.
I had to, yeah.
He gets fired up, man. You never know what Coach Dorothy's going to do.
Hey,
I was
I've seen all three of your faces, like that stone face crap, right? It's pretty intense. All right, coaches, I'll let you ask questions, but I got some pretty good banter later.
Awesome. I'll start us off
yeah.
here. So, just kind of letting the listeners know a little bit about you here, Coach. Take us through what got you playing football. Going all the way through high school, and obviously McMurray, and just having a great career.
Yeah. It started, I really just kind of played football my whole life. And then um, growing up and, in high school, we were wing T offense really up until my junior year. And then we started to transition into the spread offense. And I actually played wide receiver my junior year before playing quarterback my senior year. And then just, by the grace of God, Coach Douglas from McMurray, recruited me, and I was able to go play college football there, and did pretty well there, and then got into the coaching. But yeah, it was definitely kind of a flip of a switch from my freshman sophomore year of high school to junior senior. I mean, complete 180 offense, scheme wise, stuff like that. And then once college came around, it was basically the same as my junior and senior year of high school.
Where's McMurray?
It was in Jacksonville, Illinois. They're actually closed now. They closed the doors, I'd say right around COVID time, right when all that stuff started happening. They finished that semester out, and then they closed their doors at the end.
I can jump in anytime you boys need me to, but I don't want to overstep Ben Fry's boundaries because he's the ones with the looks here, and he brings more viewers.
He's a
Oh,
handsome
Chuck.
devil.
Yeah. Okay. So first question I have, as a guy that kind of played the defensive side of the ball primarily, and is now kind of working as an offensive coordinator, been a head coach, all that kind of stuff. How did playing QB shape you as a coach and play caller, all that kind of stuff? So how does one, do that from that side of the ball, and how is it different from, I guess, my growing up?
I think just kind of really just studying the opposite side of the ball as much as I had to in college, and then looking at it, just kind of seeing, if I was on the defensive side of the ball and I wanted, to stop this and this from the offense that I am personally running, I got to figure out what's open, and basically just kind of play chess against myself. Like, how would I stop myself on offense? And, if someone does do that, what should I do to make sure that my offense is working against, any type of defense? And I think really just becoming, especially when I was in college, like actually getting familiar with, the coverages and the defensive schemes of like what they're actually going to do. Cause, when I was in high school, especially like my junior year, like I would just go out there and play. But just seeing from the quarterback, like once you know what a true like cover 2, cover 3, what the linebackers are going to do, just by, because most, not all, but most high school defenses either stay. I mean, they don't really disguise too much. I don't know if they do with the teams you guys play, but most of the teams we play, pretty much show what they're going to give. And I think just breaking that down to my quarterback and making sure he's familiar with it helps out a lot. And our quarterback was really, really smart football wise, like IQ wise, and could like break down a defense.
For sure. And I think I was just going to say, I think for those young guys that are, in that role, whether you're quarterback, wide receiver, whatever, once you start to understand the very basic alignments, responsibilities of the defense, it just opens up every door, because then you're able to understand exactly what they're trying to do, and then you're able to manipulate it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there too. And like just keeping it simple, especially at the high school level. I mean, we saw that a lot this year. Once our guy, we kept it simple, made sure that they got comfortable with it. And then once, especially high school kids, once they're comfortable with something, it's crazy the amount of speed they can play with, and how much better they are when they're comfortable.
For sure.
What was it like, taking over a program that, was probably primarily run and spreading it out? I mean, did you get some, some guff from the outsiders or the old men that are watching your practice?
No, it was
how
actually,
we do it. We pound the rock.
it was actually pretty much the opposite. It was like a new life, with the energy and the atmosphere and, the excitement level at the games. I mean, obviously when you spread it out and you're able to put up points, it's going to be a little bit more exciting. So I think it was pretty exciting. It was just, it took a little bit to get the terminology down from, going from one end to the other of an offensive scheme. But I mean, really just keeping it super simple is what we did. And, it looks complex to a lot of people. But if you ask, my players, our offense is pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's
on top of that,
I'm sorry, Ben, go ahead.
I was just going to say, on top of that, how has transitioning from run heavy team to a spread team helped you, if it has, with athlete recruitment and retention?
It's been big. I know. So like my first year I took over, and the biggest goal that I had was to recruit the hallways. I mean, we had a ton of kids walking the hallways that should be playing football. And my first year, I was able to get 2 basketball kids out. One was a basketball, baseball kid. He's actually playing at Moberly Community College baseball right now. And he played wide receiver for us. And that year in 23, he led the team in receptions. He was just an athlete. He was a dude. And then the other kid that was a basketball kid, he started safety for us and led us in interceptions. So that's kind of what I really stressed on. I know our record wise, my first year wasn't, it was 1-8, but we weren't a 1-8 team. It's just part of the process. And those seniors of 23 bought into it, and they really, they're as much responsible. The 23 seniors and 24 seniors are the ones that are really responsible for our playoff push this year.
How do you go about recruiting those kids? Because obviously, Coach, you were a multiple sport athlete, and I think you're kind of in a tough spot with being an AD and the head football coach. And the assumption is that you only care about football, right? But you obviously do a great job of recruiting these kids. How do you go about that?
I think just the most important thing that I've, tried to focus on, and if I'm being quite honest, I've gotten it from you, is the relationship part of, actually building a relationship with these kids and like showing the kids that you actually care about them. I mean, to be honest, I could care less about my football players. I care more about the football person, the football people I have on my team. Like, if I'm going to do something in their life and I'm going to set them up for success 5-10 years down the road, I'd rather that than, a kid his junior year get all conference football. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, getting recognized is sweet, but it's like, if I can help a kid out further in life, like that means more to me than, a kid scoring a touchdown. And I think that part of it, I have a very good relationship with the kids and like they trust me. And I also stress to them, like, football is it is a physical sport, but it's like, just because you play football does not mean you're going to get hurt. Like, if you're 5'8", $145, you're probably not going to be on the offensive line or be inside the box. We're going to pound you the rock. You're probably going to be a slot wide receiver, a cornerback, and you're probably going to get tackled by a cornerback or, something like that.
Illinois, how is it different than like Iowa?
As far as
just football in general. I mean, do you guys run a conference, a district? How does that work out anytime that you even hit the playoffs?
Yeah, so in the past, I mean, IHSA just passed a proposal that they're going to expand the playoffs this year by 16 teams per class. So essentially there is a possibility of a team going 2-7, 3-6, and making the playoffs, which, I mean, I don't agree with, but it is what it is. In the past, it really has been, if you get 5 wins, you're playoff eligible. If you get 6 wins, you're automatically in the playoffs. We're in a conference. We do a decent amount of traveling. I would say on average, our away games are about an hour and 45 minutes away to 2 hours. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a haul. But yeah, it used to be you get 5 wins, you would make the playoffs, and it would be pretty significant. And, we hadn't here at West Hancock, we haven't seen the playoffs since 2018. So, I mean, this year was a pretty solid year for us.
Didi.
All right. So I think we got to give some credit where credit's due. We both coached under Coach Schiffman. And he might get a little butthurt if we don't give him a shout out. But no, he's a great guy. I learned a lot of lessons from him. What are some of your lessons that you remember back with that staff? It was a fun staff, and
it was.
Yeah. What take away from Coach Schiff?
I think just basically, he knew what he was talking about, and he was able to, spread that out to the other coaches and basically tell us exactly what he wanted and expected from us. But he also would let us do our job, that he gave us. He wasn't, looking over our shoulders or anything like that. I mean, he was super supportive. And I think that played a big part. And I know one thing that I took from him, and I still do it, when he first started making us wear sweatshirts at all times. So my kids have never seen me in a short sleeve shirt. I have always wore a hoodie or a quarter zip like this. And they let it be known that, ask me when I'm going to wear a t-shirt, and I tell them I don't own any. So,
I got to throw out there that, us folks that wear tent size clothing, the big sweatshirts aren't real great for our sweating issues.
These guys complain about my coaching apparel all the time. I hook them up, and this is what I get.
Well, hey, I'm just going to throw out a couple years ago, you got like a 3X, and I put that sucker on, and it was like a half shirt. I don't understand it. You got to go tent size.
We're losing viewers. You talking about you with a half shirt?
Hey, here, I'll make you bigger, Ben. I'm going to make you bigger. No, I'm
not. Okay, so obviously you're in the AD role and the head coaching role. What was something when you first kind of got started that you were not, that you would say that you yourself were not good at, and how you fixed that after you realized it?
I would say just, coaching wise, in the coaching aspect of it, just kind of letting things go a little bit and just kind of not being fully on top of it. When I was an assistant, I kind of just let things go. Just probably needed to be a little bit more on top of it and, take a little bit more control. I just didn't want to step over any boundaries, I guess.
I kind of call that that non-ego factor, right? I can remember years ago, when I was coaching underneath an Illinois legend, and I let my ego kind of get the best of me. But after becoming a head coach, that ego left like really fast, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean it's a world of a difference going from assistant coach and then going into the head coach. Especially my first year, it was one of my good coaching friends. He had mentioned he helped me out ever since I took over and stuff, and he had mentioned like just be ready once you're a head coach, like you do a lot more behind the scenes that no one sees or understands, and it's like when you're an assistant coach, you coach football. When you're a head coach, you track down paperwork, you set up summer plans, you have to remind the parents of stuff because the kids aren't going to go home and tell them, and then you got to put it on the team reach. And I mean, there's just so much more stuff to do as a head coach that people don't see. And then you still also have to be the best football coach that you can be.
And then plus activities director, I remember I did that for 4 years at Centrally. And, what did you make any mistakes, guys? You and Ben, have you made any mistakes in like the first couple of years? Like I screwed up a few times and had, I didn't know that West Burlington and West Burlington Notre Dame were different teams. Okay. I didn't know. I'm from Central Iowa, right? Over where the hillbillies are at. But anyway, so what I did, just kidding, Centerville.
Makes sense now.
Yeah, so now I am losing. No, in all seriousness, I didn't know, and both teams showed up to play baseball, but Notre Dame was a lot more upset than West Burlington.
Well, I'm sure, but I think, and just speaking from my experience, mistakes are going to happen when you're in this position, whether an official, you got multiple officials show up or you got no officials show up or whatever. I think being an AD is just as much about planning as it is about adapting to the situation that arises and making the best out of it. So,
yeah. Coy, do you like let's say an official doesn't show up, do you just suit up over there as an official?
Sometimes I have to. No, that's honestly my biggest worry. And if you were to ask some of the officials I have, they will probably say, Coy is one of the most overbearing, annoying ADs about making sure they are going to be there, because I make sure I send something out a week before. And if a game's on a Thursday, I send it out a week before. I send it out Monday, and then I send it out on game day, because my worst fear is just to be at a home game and then it's like, hey, we don't have our officials here.
Oh man. Yeah. Sorry, Dee. Sorry, Ben. I didn't mean to jump in there and take things a whole different direction, but sometimes that happens.
It's your show, brother.
No, it's our show, brother.
Okay, so I was just gonna say,
go ahead.
You're at West Hancock now.
Yeah.
What's it like to take over your alma mater? How much extra pride does that put in for you every single day?
A lot. I can't envision myself anywhere else. And I can't even think of it, if a spot somewhere else came open that I would even entertain. I'm right where I want to be. And if it wasn't for, the opportunity at West Hancock, I wouldn't have saw myself leaving Fort Madison. I was extremely happy there. And then, once West Hancock kind of opened up and we talked more about it and that opportunity came, I had to jump on it. And then, taking over, it was a great feeling, but also the situation and the position that West Hancock football was in when I took over, it was not good. It was probably the lowest that I've ever seen it, with just what was going on. And, really when I took over, I retained, I believe, 1 or 2 of the same coaches and everyone else was done. but I mean, yeah, I'm super excited. I just, in the back of my head, I was, thinking, a couple years down the road, like, is this going to be what it was now when I'm taking it over? Like, that was my worst fear, but it's like, it's just so night and day difference of a football program that we're at right now. And really West Hancock athletics, I would say, is just, the complete 180 of where it was 3 years ago.
How was I'm sure you articulated Dee Dee's vision of a weight room. What have you done different in the weight room than let's say before you showed up?
So before, when I took over head coach, that was probably where I struggled the most, was like, I wasn't very familiar with, getting kids, ready weight room wise and doing that stuff. But I mean, we've kind of adapted to like the Feed the Cats type program where we really focus on sprinting and speed and doing that stuff. And so at Warsaw, I'm the PE teacher there. So like some of the days we're on block schedule. So, we'll do an activity half the time, and then the football kids and, whatever athletes want to go in there and lift, they can. Hamilton High School is lucky enough to have a weight room class. So, I mean, they use that. And one of my assistant coaches is the PE teacher in Hamilton. So that works out really well for us. But that's kind of, we've really put an emphasis on it. And our players, are super bought into the weight room, especially the seniors that just graduated. And then we have, some juniors. I would open it up in the spring after school. If you weren't doing football or track or baseball, you would come in the weight room and lift. And, we had a lot of, the kids that didn't do it were all in there. And, three of them started on our offensive line. Our starting running back and linebacker, he literally lives in the weight room, or, he does football and track. So they're super bought in, the kids are.
Derek, do you have any funny stories about Coy? Like when you were coaching with him?
Most of the time it was him and I together going after Schiffman.
His little team
Schiffman's
is
a Wolverine,
2-on-1.
man. Yeah, you got to have backup. So, no, man, I didn't know. I'd heard Schiffman talking about, Coy Dorothy, and didn't know who he was. And then, he comes over and we hit it off right away. And I think him and I are very like-minded. We've shared a lot throughout the years now, and gotten together in the off season quite a few times. Even he brought some of his receivers over, and I worked with them, and he worked with some of our quarterbacks in the past. So just another reason, football, you get to meet some great people, and thanks to the game, I got another brother for life. So really thankful for that.
Ben, I don't want to leave you out, so I'll let you ask the next question. I'm smashing.
No, it's probably different slightly different anywhere you go. But what's something people don't really understand when it comes to small school football? Like, everybody sees especially the associations, all that kind of stuff. They're focused on the 5As and the bigger schools. Like, what's something that people don't truly understand about small school football?
I think in the area that we're at, I don't think people realize how good of athletes are here in these small, these small towns. We had some, very good football players this year. We have some more returning next year. But just like our conference it's a small area, but there's a lot of good players there. I mean, shoot, our basketball team, has a 6'10" kid that's just, he's a flat out stud. A couple of the football players are, in the starting five, and they're doing well. I think just at a small community, you get a little overlooked. And unfortunately, that's how it's been. And, especially at the college level with the transfer portal and all that. But I mean, as far as like schools and stuff like that, I think it gets overlooked. And, I think it's very important that you share your athletes. And what I mean by that is like, and I tell my kids this, I told them it at our exit meeting, and I tell them it every year, like, you need to go do wrestling or basketball in the winter. And a lot of kids try and give you the, I'm just going to lift this winter. I've been there. I've been a kid that said, I'm just going to hit the weight room, and I probably went Monday, maybe Tuesday. And then it was, I better just take it off. And I tell them in the spring, they need to do track or baseball. And I tell them it for two reasons, really. One, it's going to make you a better athlete for football. It's going to make you a better athlete all the way around. And then I tell them too, selfishly, I want to go to a basketball game and watch my football kids play. I want to go to a wrestling meet and watch 3 of our offensive linemen, wrestle. I want to go to a track meet and see, one of our starting wide receiver win the 100-meter Nash. I want to go see our pitcher, our starting quarterback go pitch. And I tell them that selfishly, I want to go watch you guys play.
I want to know what the hell you're putting in the water across the Mississippi, because, I go over to, to eat occasionally over into Illinois, and hell, everybody's taller than me.
I need to drink more of it. Then I need to get a little bit taller.
Well, I think that's, I mean, watching that 6'10" guy, obviously we played you this year, and he's not just a big body, he moves well. And, we've got a 6'10" guy and he moves well too. But that kid is different. I mean, he's the real deal.
Yeah. I was trying, I was doing everything I could to try to get him on the football field. And I told him he would have one job, and it'd be to line up a wide receiver and run straight, and we'd throw it up to him for a touchdown. I had a size 15 pair of cleats ready for him.
I think that's an important thing. I mean, obviously we believe football would make him a better basketball player. How do you have those conversations with those kids? Obviously he's a basketball guy, right? He's going to go play.
Yeah. He's on a Division I visit right now up at Green Bay. So, and that one's hard. I mean, I would push the button a little bit harder if a kid wasn't, had a lot of Division I offers. So I was, my worst fear would be to really dig into a kid and get him to come out and, goodness, something would happen. I would feel like it would be my fault. So, I just, and again, when I was able to get, Gage Scott, Carter Barnes out for football my first year, I had just told them, straight up, come to the football workouts for 2 weeks. Give me 6 days. If you like it, stay out. If you don't like it, there's no bad blood. There's nothing. You tried it. You can walk away and say you tried football.
That's an awesome philosophy. I think we try the same thing here. Don't just say it's not my thing. Come give it a shot. And if you don't like it, hey man, it's not for everybody. So, and that's fine, but give it a shot. Yeah,
definitely.
How hard is it to fill your coaching staff in that area? Are most of your coaches on staff at the schools, or do you have a lot of outside?
So I have seven coaches, and 4 of them are on staff. I'm at Warsaw, the Warsaw elementary principal. He's actually one of my good buddies. He was my roommate in college. He played baseball at college at Mac, and he's on staff. And then our Hamilton High School's PE teacher, he's our defensive coordinator. And then we also have another coach that is the Hamilton Elementary PE teacher. And then I kind of like that because in a perfect world, I'd like to have one at Warsaw Elementary PE teacher, but it's I have their principal on staff, so it's those kids are going to see West Hancock football all the way through elementary and junior high. The coaches are there and, selfishly, helping them recruit them, to play when they're in high school. But they're about half of our staff is in the building, and then the other half has an outside job.
I just want to ask about the community here because, unfortunately I don't get to go watch you guys very often, but I did go to a playoff game several years ago, and I was absolutely amazed at the atmosphere of that game. How important is that buy-in from the community to you as the head football coach?
Oh, I would say it's the most important thing. I mean, it means so much. not only to me, but like to the kids, for the kids to go out on a Friday night. And to be quite honest, the year before I took over as head coach on a Friday night, there weren't many people there. It was like, it's kind of disheartening. Like, I was like, man, like there's no one in the stands. And then we started to really kind of turn the corner the next year. Our games got, exciting. We were able to put up points. So obviously that's going to be more exciting. But I mean, this year our stands were packed. Our student section was there. And to be honest, I think the student section does play a lot. I mean, when your peers are at the game and cheering you on, I think that means a lot as a kid. And, I've told the kids numerous of times this story, and I tell them it every year, like the best football season of your life is going to be your senior year. Because I was a senior, we went 2-7, definitely wasn't the best win and loss record that I've ever had, but my senior year was the best time of football that I've had through college, arena, coaching. Like it was so fun just because I was with my brothers that I grew up with for the last 15, 16 years. The fans were there, the student sections were there. Like there's nothing that beats high school Friday night lights. And it's so hard to stress that to the kids because we were all a 17, 18-year-old kid and a senior. The coach would give you these are the best days of your life, like soak it in on Friday night. And it's like, all right, coach, like, can I just go play? But looking back, it's like, I just want them to really take a moment in and especially at our playoff game, I told the kids before the game, like, look around and take a moment for yourself to soak it in. Like the people, the last 7-8 years, people haven't played week 10 for West Hancock Titan football. Like you guys are doing something special. You guys did something special, so take a moment for yourself. Now, one of the other coaches also told me that too, but it's like, I think the kids do need to do that because when they look back on it, like, man, like my senior class really did this. It's like, yeah, you did. Like you really did.
Yeah, I was gonna ask before you said that your assistant reminded you to do that. How good are you at stopping and smelling the roses? Because I think as competitors and as coaches, sometimes we forget to do that. And I know I'm guilty of it. And I know our staff's had a lot of conversations about that. But did you do that for your playoff game?
For the playoff game, I did. That was like the first game. And I would say the most of the reason was, my assistant coach did, and a lot of my, like 2 or 3 of my coaching peers that are in our conference and that I'm good friends with, like also said that too. And it's like, they've been to the playoffs. They know what it feels like. Some of these coaches that are texting me have been to the semis and so I did before the game, and it was like, it was special. It really was.
It's awesome.
Sorry, Ben. You go
No,
ahead, buddy.
I was just, you've said like, hey, take a moment, whatever. What do you think if you're sitting as an outside observer, listening to that conversation with your kids? What do you think that moment felt like for the kids to sit there and actually realize that they accomplished something that not many people have done at West Hancock?
Yeah, I think, I told them it before the game and I told them it after, for a couple reasons. Before, you have so much adrenaline that you just want to go. And I will also say we played the state champions round 1. Wilmington, they were the best team that I have ever seen in person at the high school football level. They were just dudes all around. They had one of the coolest intros, where they have about, I think it was 58, 60 motorcycles lined up. The team comes walking from the woods. They got smoke blower. I mean, it was a real deal. I mean, there's a reason why they've won numerous state championships. So, I told them it before the game. There was so much adrenaline going. Obviously, the kids wanted to go. But I told them it after it as well. And I think when they really sat there and thought about it, especially the seniors and, what we do after the last game, when we're eliminated or the season is over, we line the team up, juniors down and coaches at the end, and we do one final senior walkthrough. Seniors hug the juniors, sophomores, freshmen, the coaches, say whatever you need to say one last time to them. And I think when they hit that line, I think they finally realized they could say like their hard work paid off.
Yeah.
And it did. This senior class, I couldn't be more proud of. Like they've came so far. A decent amount of them didn't play their junior year. They came back out and they were able, to see the benefits. And, like I said before, the classes before them, especially, it would be the season of 24. Those seniors, I mean, they not only had the standard set, but they raised it. The Bryce Varners, the Nolan Goodings, Ethan Schmitz, Tuckle Coltenberg, like those were the dudes that, we won one game, but it's like, these dudes were the real deal. Like they set the standard. And I think that's really what took those younger kids and it was like, hey, like we got to raise the bar. Like, these seniors before us were here. Like we got to go a little bit more.
I got a quick little follow-up. So you're talking about the Wilmington game and the team walkout, all that kind of stuff. Like how much as an AD and as a head football coach does that atmosphere that you're trying to create prior to the game, post game, all that kind of stuff, how much do you feel like that weighs into the performance of the kids?
Yeah, they were pumped up. I mean, our kids are they were ready to go once they, Wilmington took the field, they were lined up on the field and everything. Like, they kind of took it as, all right, like get off the field, let's go, and really 9.5 minutes into the game, we were on their 1 yard line. We held the ball for 9.5 minutes and got all the way down their 1 yard line, and it was 0-0. So I was like, hey, we're doing exactly what we want to do. And then just unfortunately things didn't go the way we wanted them to.
Now, how as a head coach do you handle those ups and downs on a Friday night? It's we're all a little bit different, and you don't seem like you're an old school coach. You seem like a player's coach. But did you have to develop that?
In a way, I would say I'm a player's coach. I think it really just stems from like when I played, I wasn't a fan of, coaches just ripping into me and just chewing into me and screaming and yelling. And it's like, you could very easily be coaching me the way that I'm talking to you right now, the way, and I try to remember that too. And don't get me wrong, I yell and, the kids know when I'm yelling, I am either very mad or someone touched the quarterback. Those are the two rules. I caught myself just coming unglued at a kid that today or this year that, he barely even touched the quarterback and I just sitting there screaming. He looked at me like, what? Like, what? Why are you yelling at me? But yeah, I think I'd be a player's coach. I try and coach the kids the way that I would want to be coached, that I wanted to be coached. And it really comes from my college coach, Coach Douglas. He would be the most even-keeled guy, whether we're up 50, down 50, whether I just threw 3 touchdowns or whether I threw my 4th pick of the game. He was just always so calm, and I have no idea how he does it because I seem pretty calm, and then I get on the sideline and I catch my assistant coach, Trevor, like saying, hey, like it's fine. Like just calm down. Like we're good. We're good. Calm down. So yeah.
In a few years, Derek and Ben, this guy's going to be saying, I win. Google me.
Well, I hope so.
I think he'll smile a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make the faces that Kurt does.
Yeah.
Nettie's a different cat, man.
Coy, who's going to win the national title tomorrow night?
Oh man, I would have to say Indiana.
Okay, Ben.
I would think.
I 100% agree. I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
Derek.
Yeah, I mean, if they play like they have been, it's going to be tough for anybody, obviously, to beat them, especially in a national title game.
I got to throw this out there because I think it was a couple weeks ago I said that Miami. I'm going to choose Miami.
Rolling with them, huh?
Yeah, I'm. You know,
Big
win or
question.
lose-
You still rolling with your Broncos?
No, no, no way. It's
You could go
And
quarterback
time
for him
out,
if you wanted.
yeah. They're
time out.
looking for a quarterback, Chuck.
I thought that you were a Chiefs fan.
I am okay. So just hear my story, just real quick, okay. Anyway, I jumped on the bandwagon of Peyton Manning when he played at University of Tennessee. Okay. I've always kind of been I've always been a diehard Chiefs fan, but I love Peyton Manning. Right. So he ended up going to Indianapolis. I got some Indianapolis stuff, stuff like that. Went to Denver. I was a little bit more heartbroken, but I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a hat. I'm going to buy a pullover. I'm going to follow Peyton Manning until he retires. Right. And then come back to my Chefs because that's the way they're playing this year. The Chefs. Right. But
is that legal to do?
Hey, come on, man.
You
come
just
on,
make
man.
up your own rules.
Hey, listen. You changed to Ohio State University.
You're damn right I did. Damn right.
Dude, don't give me my fifth. No, it's be the fourth stroke. I got to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, just want everybody to know that Chicago is in OT.
Yeah, did you see that last touchdown he just
I did. Yeah,
Yes.
that was nuts.
It's amazing that we multitask. My wife says I can't do that worth a crap.
It just depends on the task.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
When it comes
So,
to football.
Yeah, when
Hey.
football's involved, I can get a lot done.
Yes. You know what we need? Like this summer, we need to get all the coaches that have been a part of the coach show and go golf together again.
I'd be down for that.
That'd be good.
I think it would be phenomenal. We can raise money to send to Chuck Banks. I'm just kidding.
I get Coy on my team though. I know that dude golfs a
Hey.
lot.
Hey, I don't care.
like-
I'll have Weichert and Ben on my team.
I feel like golfing a lot is part of an AD's responsibilities.
Yeah.
Just to make sure the course is good for our
Yes,
athletes, of
100%.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that course is playable.
course.
I got a good question, Coy. What's your are you superstitious? Do you have to eat the same meal? Do you have to put on the same underwears? I mean, just here, let me know.
So we ended the season on a 5-game winning streak, and I made sure to use the same play call sheet and wear the exact same pants and shirt for our game. I did wear I had to go all black. I wore a red shirt one time, and that might have been the worst game that we have ever played. So I made sure to be honest, I don't even know where it's at now. Like I had to just get rid of it. I did not want to see it again. So a little superstitious, I guess.
Do you want? I mean, surely you wash your socks and your
Somewhat
underwear, though,
suspicious.
right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Derek doesn't, man. I mean, by,
Hey, if it works, it works.
dude. If we're on a 5-game
hey.
win streak, man, he's got the holies on.
It's not
No,
working
anyway,
right
go
now. I
ahead.
got to fix this.
All right.
You remember how superstitious Schiff was with like
Oh,
7?
geez.
He had to have 7 pieces of gum in his left
Yeah.
pocket, and like I mean, it was crazy stuff. I thought I was bad.
Uh,
Man, he's wild.
Man, when I was at Fort Madison, I would just get up in the booth and I would see how many. I'd see if I could go through a whole bag of sunflower seeds when I was on the headset. I was just up there chomping on those.
I
Ben,
got
are you
all my
superstitious?
sunflower seeds right. I'm the same way.
Look at him. Oh my God. Look
I
at
got like
that.
6 bags right here.
Mm. Yeah. Superstitious. I do notice that the Bears went into overtime and more people left. I'm sure they'll catch the play-by-play back, right? But I mean, they just can't multi task like us, right?
It's a gift.
Oh, it's a gift from God. Now, funniest Tony Schiffman story. Can you tell me?
Man, I'm trying to think. I honestly think it was. I can't think of one specific moment or anything, but it would always be me and Didi against him. I mean, it could be anything in the world. I could agree with Schiffman, and if Derek said something different, I was going to agree with him just to make Schiffman mad. Like, and we were the same way. It was whatever we could get under his skin, we would.
I do know that Schiffman will be joining us probably sometime next month, and it's always nice to have him. And also PD Bananas. We're gonna have PD Bananas back on. He loves the wing tee and flex bone, so I'm excited to have PD Bananas back on. But
I just thought of a Schiffman story here.
Oh, let's hear it.
Go ahead, Coy.
No, just funny story you say that about the flex bone and wing tee is, Didi knows me. Everybody knows me. I'm a spread guy. We were in T formation a lot this year. We put it in and we were super successful with it. So I would have to say there's going to be a lot more of that coming with West Hancock. It was just, like I said, my buddy Trevor, he was just like, dude, like, this isn't you. Like, what? Like, I've never heard you say you want to run the football. And I'm like, but we have to. I'm like, when our running back's getting as many yards as he is and dragging dudes, like we got to tote the rock. Like, and once we did, we were super successful. And it's just like, one game I let our quarterback call a play and I was just like, hey, like, go ahead, call whatever play you want in our playbook. And he's like, whatever play? I'm like, anything you want. So I'm thinking he's going to run out there and, just, hey, let's go vertical. Let's see how far I can throw it. We get in T formation and we run it for a touchdown. And I'm like, I was not expecting him to call that. But I was like, hey, if it works, it works.
Oh, man. Your questions, guys.
Well, I was just going to ask, as an offensive guy, obviously 3 out of 4 of us in the room are spread guys. What is it? Your go-to concept when you know you need to get something going?
Honestly, if we need a yard, I'm going to give it to Chandler Daydan because it doesn't. Our offensive line was awesome this year. We didn't give up a single sack. We were just phenomenal up front. But you could give Chandler Daydan the ball, and the defense could have 3 or 4 guys there, and we couldn't have. If we didn't have an offensive line, he's going to pick up the yard. That dude's just going to put his nose down and he's going to go get a yard for us. Concept-wise, if it's a pass, anything to, Hunter Froman, whether it's an out route, a go route. But I like the vertical twist. I think that one just had really opened up for us, whether it was the outside guy coming open or the inside guy. And we ran a lot of the dig routes from the outside and slot guys running straight. It just really linebackers backed off, safeties bailed, and then middle of the field was wide open for us.
Toughest to deal with. Do you guys see most are you seeing odd fronts? Or are you seeing a lot of that 4-2-5 stuff over there in Illinois?
I would say a little 4-4-2 or like a 3-3 stack. We saw a decent amount, but really. This year we always had a tight end down. So we would either get a 4-2 box, or if they were silly enough to spread it out, they'd give us a 4-1 and we just run it up the middle. But we saw a lot of, cover 2, cover 4.
I'm going to ask this for all the guys. Is quarters the hardest to deal with when you're a spread team?
I don't think so, personally, because you have all the underneath stuff option open, and you can just kind of nickel and dime your way down. Everybody thinks spread, and we're going to throw it 40 yards every play, whereas we can hand the ball off in a cover 4, and you're going to get 3-4 yards. You can do your check downs, you can do your underneath drags, and exactly like he said, if you're running a dagger concept and you got an in route from your outside guy, all the safeties and corners are all bailing out of there. And as long as he can beat a linebacker, you're probably getting a completion there as well.
Yeah. I agree with that too. When people think spread, they think, oh, geez, they throw it 40 yards downfield every play.
Guys, to be fair, I was a spread guy one season. Okay. And we led the district in interceptions. Anyway.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Oh my goodness. It goes by so fast, but we got time for 4 or 5 more questions from the coaches to the right of me because my brain's kind of lagging. But we're gonna have Coy back on because he's pretty damn good guest there, Didi.
Well,
Yeah, told you, man. Coy's the man. So I do have a question for you because right before you got on, they were kind of busting my chops. I'm a Lincoln Riley guy. I'm not like Coach Banks. I'm not going to wear USC stuff just because I like Lincoln Riley. But who's the one coach that you really like studying at the college level and guy that you steal ideas from?
I like Lane Kiffin. I like Lane Kiffin stuff. Yeah, I like his offensive stuff and just looking at that.
Agreed. Except it's going to be weird seeing him in LSU stuff. Like I
honestly started to like, man, I kind of like Ole Miss, and then it's like, yeah, well, he's gone. Like,
yeah,
never mind. No, I don't like him. Yeah, I think LSU is going to be pretty solid with him.
Yeah. You following them on X right now? All the guys that they're getting. Jeez,
are they getting more?
Oh man, nonstop retweets from Lane.
I saw Carson Beck. I was kind of confused by it. The one reporter asked him about class, and he said he graduated
2 years ago.
So what's he doing?
He's a doctor, man. He's been to school for like 7 years. He's Dr. Carson Beck.
So does he have classes, or is he just there like
Doctor of basket weaving?
He's probably making a coaching salary, honestly.
I was thrown off. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
a lot of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors, Tommy.
Well, his IQ. I mean, his street smart's obviously not that great because you don't share that kind of crap, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
That whole college football stuff's wild now, man.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, what are your thoughts on the transfer portal?
I don't like it for a lot of reasons. It's mostly not that I think like we have, West Hancock is not just pouring out Division I athletes. If we have one, it's once in however long. But it's like I don't think it's fair to like the small school kids that are good. Western University is 40 minutes away from us, and they don't want any. Honestly, they don't really show any interest in any of like local kids. I mean, but I can't really say I blame them when they can get in the transfer portal and get a 3-year starter from a Division II school or maybe a second string at an FBS school. I think it just hurts high school kids, to be honest.
Did you see the Duke quarterback transferred like at the very last minute of the transfer window? So like their coach obviously did everything to keep him there and thought, he's staying. And on like the last possible second, he said that he's transferring, has a place to go already. So,
that's like, as a coach, what do you do? Like,
yeah, as a coach, how do you plan anything ever? Because
like, and one thing that I was just like, couldn't believe it was on, I was watching TV on ESPN. On the bottom of it, it's scrolling across and it says, I don't even know what quarterback agrees to terms to return to school. What do you mean agrees to terms? Like it's college. Like agrees to terms to take English in there? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and like Oklahoma State had a lineman take a visit to the college he was attending.
I know. And then like what Nebraska's quarterback, he went to Oregon, and then Oregon's quarterback says he's returning. So is Raiola going to get back in the portal? Like, take me with you.
I mean, it's even spread today. We've got a kid that's playing at Simpson right now, and Simpson just picked, or Iowa just picked up Simpson's kicker. Like they're going D3 to D1. I mean, it's wild. I'm cool for that kid, right? Like go and I wonder how much you were talking about it. I remember reading about Deion Sanders saying the transfer portal's hurting all of these high school kids. That's who it's hurting. I wonder how many of these kids, like that's going to be the new route. You go D3, prove yourself and go on. It just rolls downhill then, the D3 schools that are recruiting these kids. And then all of a sudden the kid leaves, it's just a mess right now.
Yeah, and it's like those, there's I forget the number. I think it was like as of Friday, like there was 10,000 kids because so I have a student teacher and he's goes to Culver Stockton. He's their D line coach. He was pulling up his like database that he's got to recruit people and he's in there looking at in the transfer portal and he said there was 9,000 kids in there. What happens to the kids, and that's from NAIA to Division One. Like, but let's say I go D3, I'm getting in it. Like, what if nobody picks me up? Are you done? Like, because out of those 10,000 kids, like not everybody's gonna find a home. Like,
right?
No, it's similar. Like if you declare for the NFL draft, you can't go back to college. Like if you declare for the transfer portal and can't get picked up, are you done then? Like.
Yeah, are you begging like, hey, I was just kidding. Can I come back to school year? Like,
I joke.
Yeah,
You're
right.
going-
Like,
and then if you're a coach at that school, it's like you don't even want to be on our team. Why do I want you back?
it's
Like,
a matter of time
right.
until we get a coach in the transfer portal.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know the full rules on that. Somebody was telling me that if you enter the transfer portal, that doesn't mean that you have to leave. You can go back to that school, but what kind of look is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm gonna leave this place. Oh, I couldn't find anything better. I guess I'll come back.
Yeah, I guess you guys are right.
Caden Proctor, you right?
He
technically
did leave and then just decided to change his mind.
Yeah.
But
Took
hey,
a whole bunch of money with him.
I can't believe we're down to the nitty gritty, but I want to make sure that I announce this here before I forget. Oliver Shellick Scooter, he's going to win the Sportsman Award in the closest voting that we've had since we've started, and all four were very, just great athletes there, and they had a good run. So Shellick wins because of is it leg scissors or leg
cradle?
Leg cradle. You don't see those very often.
No, it's been a long time since I've seen one.
Can you put a leg cradle on Coy?
I don't even know what that is, but please don't. It sounds like it hurts.
I'm more into like WWE wrestling.
I was saying, I'm more WWE. We can do Royal Rumble.
100%.
Oh heck yeah! So Coy, give shout outs out there to those that are going to be listening or whatever. We're going to give you that opportunity.
Yeah, no. One thing I wanted to touch on, and which means a lot to me, and it has been super cool, is ever since I've played football, my parents have been at every single game, from high school to college. I mean, I didn't end up starting until my freshman year, about 5 games in as a freshman. We were in the upper Midwest conference, so about half the schools were Minnesota teams. So, I mean, it was 8 to 10 hours. They never missed one single football game. That we had 2 in Minnesota my freshman year that I didn't even touch the field. They were still up there at it. I graduate, go play arena football. They're at that game. I go to Fort Madison as an assistant coach. They're traveling to all of those games. And quite frankly, they have no idea anybody on Fort Madison's team. They have no connection, and they're there. I come to West Hancock, and I'm a JV coach. We're going an hour and 45, 2 hours away. I'm coaching on a Monday night, and I look in the stands, and they're there. It's just crazy the amount of support that I've got from them my whole life. I think one of the funniest stories was we were at a school about an hour and a half away, JV. And obviously I'm coaching, and my mom's standing there, and the bus driver goes, "Hey, you want to go ahead and sign your kid out?" She looked at me like, "No, but I got the ugliest one." And the bus driver's like, "Oh my gosh, who?" She's like, "It's the coach." And he's like, in which I'm good friends with the bus driver. He's, "Oh my gosh." But no, yeah, just shout out to my parents. They've never missed any of my games, and it truly means a lot to me. And there'd be no way that I could ever repay them.
Parents are extremely special. I did notice that your Mama Doherty, did not post tonight, Dee Dee. So
yeah, she I don't know what's going on, man. She was calling me earlier this week asking about the show. She knew Coy was coming on, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
She's probably watching the Bears and Rams game. She roots
Yes.
for
She
the
might
Rams.
be.
Yeah.
She might be.
I
That
I
kind of
want to
thing.
give it. I want to give a shout out to Fort Madison Pellet Company. They have graciously sponsored Dog Pound Radio to go to the next two men's wrestling tournaments. So it's gonna allow Colton Vermazen and I the ability to pay for gas and entry fees and stuff like that. So very very heartfelt thank you to Fort Madison Pellet Company. Ben and Dee Dee, do you guys have any shout outs?
I'll shout out the winter athletes right now, man. Boys basketball got the monkey off their back. They got their first win, and I do feel like they're getting better and better. And been talking to a lot of those guys. The girls have looked really, really good, and our wrestling team, man, they're battling. They're getting better every single time they're out on the mat, and that's exciting to see. So shout out to the winter sports athletes at Fort Madison.
Ben?
Yeah, and I'll just shout out, same thing, Fort Madison community. Thanks to all the people at Holy Trinity that are, super excited about all the opportunities we're given, not just the athletes, but now that I'm getting through Dog Pound Radio, I had a lot of people reaching out from Des Moines about it as well. So just huge shout out to all those people. Yeah,
I'm telling you what, man, big things are happening. I just hope I live that long. We're out.